What's up, YouTube? With Spider-Man Homecoming in the books and its opening array reviews, much like mine, it's become clear that Marvel and Sony are not resting on their hands just yet. They've already gone on to say that the next movie will feature another Avenger, not Iron Man, and it will be a major player. Sorry, Hawkeye. That being said, I think they're just speaking loosely in terms of major player. I personally believe you sell yourself short not giving some of the lesser Avengers something to do in between movies, so audiences can get more accustomed to them and really start to connect with those characters. What I'm here to talk about are several Avengers characters I personally think we might see regardless of Avengers status. You're welcome, Hawkeye. Speaking of Hawkeye. Hawkeye is one of the most underappreciated superheroes, not just in the MCU, but comic books as a whole. I mean, think about it. The only reason he doesn't get as many memes and jokes about him as Aquaman does is because people forget about him. That is pretty insulting. It's sad too because Webhead and Hawkeye have some really interesting moments together in the comics. Not only that, Hawkeye is an absolute badass in the comics. His skill with a bow borders on the superhuman. The movies have shown this, but they play him for laughs at times. Even the comics have jumped on board with the idea as recently as the last 2 or 3 crossover events. If you go back to like Civil War II, you really see it a lot. The reason I think he'd make a good mentor is because he has a dark past. He's made mistakes. He knows what it's like to lose control and muck everything up. He's also quite the snarky one-liner machine, not unlike Spidey himself. And with the recent events of Spider-Man Homecoming and the ending and everything it's setting up, I think he would not be a bad guy to have around to, maybe give Spider-Man the pep talk that he might need come Spider-Man Homecoming 2 or 3. Next up, Captain Marvel. See, you thought I was going to say Captain America. But no, seriously. Captain Marvel is going to be big in the MCU. By the time the next Spider-Man sequel drops, she will have already debuted in Avengers Infinity War and shown off what she can do in the untitled Avengers sequel, and by that case, also had her own solo movie. She's likely to be the stand-in for Captain America once the dust settles and various other, original Avengers cast members move on. Hell, she may even become the stand-in for Nick Fury as well. Double duty mentoring. So why Carol Danvers, the woman known as Captain Marvel? She's an absolute one-woman brute squad. She's going to be aimed at fans of the recent Wonder Woman movie by Warner Brothers Pictures, and she's likely to be a major player in future Guardians of the Galaxy-related titles and any cosmic universe stuff James Gunn has in the crockpot for Marvel's future films. Not only that, but before she graduated to Captain in the comics, her and Spidey had a little bit of a thing. True story. They probably won't go that route in the movies because cradle robbing, but Captain Marvel and Spider-Man have some great chemistry that cannot be ignored. Also, if they want to capitalize on any future Civil War II follow-ups, she's an essential character to bake into any other MCU films. Moving on, Hulk smash! Okay, so Hulk is one of those that could easily go sideways if he's used. Not only does Hulk work as a mentor because of his scientific acumen, #ScienceBros2, #ScientificBoogaloo, but it would give us a chance to see some of those classic Spider-Man versus Hulk moments when Banner loses it and goes ape on the wall crawler. Spider-Man would always be outmatched, but in the past he's shown he can hang with the Hulk, even if only for a little while. This would work especially well if we were also to get villains like Rhino, Venom, and other big tough guys for him to go up against in the next movie. But let's not hold our breath just yet. Other than that, I think Mark Ruffalo could really give Peter Parker that wounded father figure he typically gets out of characters like the Lizard. I mean, it would be a good moment. Anyways, Doctor Strange. So, you thought RDJ worked well in Spider-Man Homecoming? Imagine a film where Spidey is up against the likes of Mysterio and thinks he needs help from a magic aficionado, not realizing Mysterio is just special effects. Still with me? It could work. Even better, let Spidey get down into some of his more crazy villains like Mr. Negative or Morbius, then it really works. Doctor Strange shares good chemistry with Spidey in the comics, and their panels together always show off a Strange that is not shy about throwing witty jabs back and forth with Parker. Especially with how Strange is being played by Benedict Cumberbatch in the MCU, this is a license to print money. This could work on so many levels, but the only fear is that Strange would be OPAF when it comes down to fighting the bad guys. So he'd have to stay back about as much as RDJ did in Homecoming, which is about all you'd really want, but Strange's forte is magic, so we gotta see at least something, right? I wasn't really wanting to do this, but there were way more characters than, like, I could shake a stick at. But I wanted to just go ahead and say some honorable mentions. I'm not going to spend a whole lot of time on these guys, but I do want to say, and I know we preface this by saying major players, but I think that Falcon, who did great in the solo AntMan flick, it would be a disservice to not have him maybe come in for a brief moment in time, especially with the little bit of setup that they had in Civil War. Speaking of Ant-Man, I would say Ant-Man himself, who really shines with a more comedic character. Ant-Man and Spider-Man were some of the best parts of Captain America's Civil War, other than Black Panther. Okay, so now we've gotten down to the nut cutting. Last, but certainly not least, Captain America. Duh, of course it's Cap. Now, I know what you're probably thinking. If you have seen, or even if you haven't seen it, because they kind of have a little bit of a shot of him in the trailers, but technically we've already gotten Captain America in the Spider-Man Homecoming movie. But I think we are actually going to see full-on Captain America, war criminal Captain America, as Hannibal Buress so eloquently put. But I'm very curious to see how they would do this, because Spider-Man looks up to Captain America. In the MCU, it's done a little bit differently. In the MCU, Spider-Man looks up to Iron Man. He doesn't really look up to Captain America. I mean, you don't ever really get the impression that, I mean, other than that one throwaway line in Civil War where he's like, you know, hey, big fan, Spider-Man. You know, you don't really get the impression that Spider-Man cares about Captain America all that much, at least not as a hero. But I feel like if we could get Captain America to show up, maybe we could finally start to see that Spider-Man who looks up to Captain America and wants to be just like him. I like the fact that they go back to Captain America in Homecoming with some lines thrown out by Robert Downey Jr. Where he says, hey, look, if Cap wanted to lay you out, he would have. And that's kind of a show of Captain America's character, which is very in line with Spider-Man. I think they could have some great moments together. And I also think that Captain America shines his best when he's in a movie with other characters. It's not to say that his movies would be boring otherwise, but let's look at the proof in the pudding. Look at Captain America Winter Soldier. That movie is amazing, and it's mostly because the Winter Soldier is such a great villain, but also Black Widow and Falcon do wonders to lift up his character. Look at Captain America Civil War. That movie is also fantastic. It's also more of a sequel to the first Avengers movie than Age of Ultron is. And I would even say you could technically count it as Avengers 3. But the thing is, it works so much better because Captain America is surrounded by his peers. And that's how it is in the comics. Not to say Cap's movies are boring, but he works better with other characters. And what better character than Spider-Man? Someone he's already had a little bit of history with in a previous film. And then that would also maybe possibly lead in, just like how you had Happy Hogan stand in for Iron Man at times, you could probably see Falcon or Winter Soldier. Well, probably not Winter Soldier, but you'll probably see Falcon step in sometimes and be kind of a liaison between Cap and Spidey. And like I said, their panels together are just inspiring stuff to see because there's so much hero worship. Now, granted, we got that a little bit more between Spider-Man and Iron Man, but I think it would be even better with Captain America, especially when Spider-Man gets to know the real Cap. Anyways, Sorry I went on a little long there. Sometimes I get on sidebars. But thank you for watching. And if you enjoyed this video, click that like button. And also, let me know what you think in the comments. Let me know what characters you think I might have missed, or some other characters that you feel would be better suited. Also, let me know what other videos you'd like for me to make. Don't forget to click that subscribe button, and also tap that little bell so that way you don't miss a single bit of new content. Once again, thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you again soon.